Hello there and welcome back to Forza Top Gear Labs Rivals, the spin-off where we pit a couple of cars with common ground and close PIs against each other to see which one can come out on top. In this episode we compare two of the most famous and sought after Volkswagen products ever made. Firstly, we have the Volkswagen Samba bus, part of the Volkswagen Type 2 family. The Type 2 is one of the most iconic vehicles of all time, despite coming from pretty humble beginnings. Essentially designed as a simple parts mover using components from both the civilian Type 1 Beetle and the military version, the Volkswagen Type 82 Kuppelwagen, including their underpowered air-cooled boxer engines and rear-engined rear-drive configuration. Beginning production in 1950 as a pure commercial vehicle, it was one of the forerunners in the modern-day cargo and passenger van space, with numerous different versions and configurations to fit any role it needed to. It proved itself as a capable works and pleasure vehicle, with it being fully cemented into history thanks to the hippie movement of the 60s and 70s, where it became an icon of the era. This particular Type 2 is the most sought after and luxurious version, the Samba bus. Featuring 23 windows, including 8 in the roof, a fabric sunroof and a unique two-tone paint scheme, the Samba has become a big-time classic, with values for mint condition examples reaching in excess of £100,000. The Type 2 was in use in most countries up until 1979, although Brazilian production continued up to 2013, where it finally had to be stopped due to new safety regulations. Volkswagen Brazil gave it a special final edition, and even a short film titled Combi's Last Wishes as a send-off. Its competition for today is the also Type 1 Beetle-based Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. While the Samba bus was initially developed as a pure hard-working commercial vehicle, the Karmann Ghia was meant to be Volkswagen's halo car, a truly aspirational product in the age of post-war prosperity. The Volkswagen Karmann Ghia was a collaboration between three companies. Volkswagen, who supplied the Beetle's platform and engine, the styling was handled by Italy's Carrozzeria Ghia, and the bodywork was hand-built by the German coach-building house Karmann, hence the car's name. The car's styling received major praise, with many considering the Karmann Ghia to be one of the most beautiful cars ever made. It was marketed as a practical yet stylish 2+2 car rather than a sports car, which is a good thing, considering the Beetle's 1500cc air-cooled engine didn't exactly produce any more power than, say, a sewing machine. Despite being considered the most aspirational Volkswagen of the time, the Karmann Ghia hasn't reached the value heights of the Samba bus, with prices going to £40,000 for only the most mint and earliest of convertible versions. The Karmann Ghia would later be replaced by the Scirocco, as well as a later revision spawning the Porsche 914 series of sports cars. So there you have it, two early Beetle-based products battling out to see which is the true angel amongst devils. Still, while this battle could be fierce, it won't exactly be quick. Case in point, we begin with the Samba bus. 50 horsepower, 82 foot-pound torque, 2,513 pounds of weight. Out of the two, this is the torquiest, but it is also the heaviest and the least powerful, and strap yourself in, because this one is gonna take a while. The Samba bus is one of the lowest PI cars in the game. I believe this is F-Class 103 or something like that. It's very, very slow, which is kind of predictable because, well, it's an old Volkswagen based on a Beetle, and a Beetle is quite a slow vehicle. I will say, I actually quite like the Samba bus. I'm not a fan of these classic Volkswagens. I really dislike the Beetle, and that even extends to stuff like the Porsche 911, which I'm not a particular fan of. But I will say, the Samba bus, I actually quite like it. It's quite cool. I like the two-tone paint scheme and sort of, I don't know, it is a iconic car at the end of the day, so is the Beetle and stuff like that, but the Volkswagen is just sort of a happy little commercial do-anything vehicle. And again, there's millions of versions of this. There was ambulances even, which that's quite a scary prospect to think of, because yeah, I think I'd probably bleed out before the ambulance Type 2 came. Anyways, as far as it goes to drive, it drives pretty much as you'd expect. You can see it on the screen here. It is painfully slow. Handling is interesting, shall we say. This car is quite soft. You might have caught the episode on Tuesday where I drove a Toyota Hilux, and you might have noticed that thing actually sort of rolls through the corners quite badly, so much so that it goes onto two wheels. The bus kind of does that. It doesn't have enough power to actually throw the entire car onto two wheels, but it can get very, very close, and the most notable place is through these last two corners, as you're about to see, because the best way to do this in slow cars is just full pelt. You can sort of see those front wheels starting to lift off the ground a little bit, lifting off. Yeah, you can see the angle they're at and everything. It is quite an interesting experience, shall we say. Next up, we have the Karmann Ghia, 53 horsepower, 78 foot-pound torque, 1,852 pounds of weight, most powerful car, and the lightest, which, yeah, it is quite clear-cut which of the two cars is going to win today, because the Karmann Ghia is more powerful and a lot lighter. But the real question here is just how much buy. I will say, if you thought the bus was a speed demon, then the Karmann Ghia will blow you away, because you can see, wow, it's faster than the Samba bus. It's still the most painful thing to drive around here, though. It is so slow. Some slow cars around here could be fun. I said before, the Subaru 360, one of my absolute all-time favourite cars to drive around here, because that was hilarious amounts of fun. The Samba bus was pretty fun as well. The Karmann Ghia is much better than the Samba bus in terms of its handling. It doesn't do the bucking thing. It's still very, very soft, which you'll notice, and the rear end will actually come out on this, given enough of a chance, because all of the weight is over the rear end, but it's pretty difficult to get it to do that. It's only through real slow speed corners where you slam it in way too quickly, which you kind of have to do to go around this track at a reasonable pace, that you really start to notice it. It is flatter, though, than the bus. It is a better handling vehicle. It feels much more taut. It's just obviously the better of the two. I mean, upgraded, I don't know. I've built a drag car out of a Karmann Ghia. I haven't really played around with the bus all that much as of recent, but, you know, the Karmann Ghia is the clear-cut better car. If you want which car is better out of these two, it's obviously the Karmann Ghia. The bus has more character, in my opinion, though, so it is what it is. It's just really a question of which one, or by how much, quicker was the Karmann Ghia. And onto the leaderboard, and, well, the Karmann Ghia was about 9 seconds quicker, going into 338th place with a 153.870, goes in between a Willys Jeep and a Ute, although they're pretty far apart in terms of their times. In 342nd place, we find the Volkswagen Samba bus with a 202.084. It is 2.5 seconds quicker than a 2CV, which is actually fairly impressive considering it. A little bit slower than the Barth 595. Out of the two here today, Karmann Ghia is obviously the quicker car. It's obviously the better to drive. But of the two, if you got me in a room and say which one of these do you actually want, I'd probably choose the Samba bus just because it's a little bit cooler in my opinion. The Karmann Ghia, I don't know, it's never really tickled my pickle particularly. I don't think it's that good looking. I know a lot of people think it's fantastic looking. It's just not really a style icon to me. And the Samba bus is a little bit more cool, I guess, which is strange to say. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this edition of Forza Top Gear Laps Rivals. As always, we will be back with you on Tuesday for the main episode, which is going to focus on pony cars, and next week's Rivals episode, well, we're going to move it up a gear. We're going to go into B class, and we're going to be taking a look at some classic cars. Let me know what you think is going to be facing off against each other in the comment section below, and if you have any ideas for Rivals episodes, do let me know. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell. I am the Eggman.